everybody. Welcome to another episode of Vision One Media Artist Shoutout podcast. My name is Ella Beth. I'm your host today, and I'm really excited to introduce our guest for today because it's someone that I met quite early in my Atlanta living journey, and a musician that I think is really fantastic and sort of showed me a little bit of the ropes in the early days. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome Jacob Harshman.
Hello. Oh, wow. Thank you from the studio audience. Thank you. Please calm down. Please.
It's my favorite part of the show.
Please. I don't deserve all that. Please.
So thank you for being here today.
Thank you for inviting me.
So you are a singer, a songwriter. You produce your own music, I believe?
I work with my drummer. The drummer in my band does most of my production. Well, not most. He does my production. His name's Drummer Jay. Yes, indeed. Cool. Exactly.
Shout out to Drummer Jay.
Shout out Drummer Jay. He's the GOAT. I love that man. So he and I work kind of as a duo team to I'll write the songs and then bring them to him, and then we'll work together and kind of breathe life into them.
Okay.
But the songs come. I'll write the song completely by myself. Like when I bring something to him, it's not a case of like I have a chorus. Let's figure it out. Like I know where we're starting. I know where we're ending, but the middle is kind of where we get to play around a little bit,
right?
You know?
And figure it out.
Because there's been tons of times that I've brought something that on acoustic guitar sounds like a really sad, thing, but then he will bring a different edge to it that makes it more interesting than if I just did it, you know?
Yeah.
So that's collaboration, man. That's
yes,
that's awesome. Yeah.
And we love it. We love to work like that. So with your collaboration, the Jacob Harshman project.
Yes.
So you just mentioned your drummer. Mm-hmm. Is everyone in your band, are they solid members of your band, or does the project sort of have a rotation?
Rotation, yeah, that's a great question. It is interesting. Well, I have people that I would say are my A team and then my backup team, simply because the people that do play with me are all very busy. I'm not the only band that they play with.
So
there's a necessity that comes from I personally am going to play 6 nights a week somewhere, whether it's with solo or with a band.
Yeah.
So there are days where my bass player can do the Friday but can't do the Saturday because he already has something else going on with another project. As time goes on, I'm faithful that will stop because I'm hoping to be able to make them money, which is the goal.
The goal,
you know what I mean?
The goal is the band
but everybody's got their bases that they got to cover. It's not anything that's crazy. But yeah, Shane Perryman, or better known as Pluto Shane's, pretty much always on bass. When he's not, it's a gentleman that I actually just met a couple months ago named Zeke Frank, who is from Memphis and is absurdly good. Jay doesn't really...
Wait,
Zeke Frank.
He's a big guy.
Big guy. Do you know Zeke?
I know Zeke.
You know
Zeke?
He's
dope, right?
He's incredible.
He is such a, honestly,
and
shout out to Zeke.
Shout out Zeke. Just a pure-hearted dude.
Yeah, isn't he the loveliest?
Just genuinely a sweet guy.
Yeah.
And probably one of the most absurdly talented bass players I've ever met.
I'm so shocked by the fact that he just sits there looking so bored. Just sort of looking up into space, and his fingers are just like...
And then and you're like, what are you doing, bro? It's too much. This is a ballad, dog. I love it. Don't stop, but warn me. You know what I mean? I need to be expecting something. But yeah, he's
Everything
incredible.
Everything is funky.
Yeah, and then we have for bigger gigs, we have a guy named Juice Wayne come on and play keys. Anthony, he's just incredible as well. So, but we kind of fit needs. You know, we're still on that local band level at the moment where we're really just playing around town. So some gigs are a trio, some gig are a full band, some gig are a solo. It just kind of moves around, but it's all under the umbrella of JHP, which is the easier thing than just saying Jacob Harshman Project. It's a lot of syllables.
Yeah, that's
it's a lot of syllables.
So speaking of playing around town, I first saw you, and I'm going to get myself in trouble here. I first saw you at a place whose name eludes me down in Atlanta. I want to say it's 5 steps.
5 paces.
5 paces. Okay,
paces.
I was close. I was 6
so
doors,
close.
3.
You're so close. Yeah, 5 paces.
Okay, so I first saw you.
Is that really where you first saw me? I thought you... Okay, so you saw me...
I saw you with the band at 5 paces.
Yes, and then you introduced yourself at Duluth, didn't you?
In Duluth,
that's when I remember meeting you.
Right, because I saw you and the people and my husband and my brother-in-law, they were like, this band's been fantastic. I was like, bro. And then I was listening to you. I was like, that guy is an amazing singer.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. I was just really, really floored. And then we were at Truck and Tap, and I was like, that
That guy looks familiar.
That guy looks familiar. And they were like,
Yeah.
nah, it's not the same guy. It's not the same guy. It's like, no, I'm pretty sure it's the beanie.
Yeah, it's the beanie.
Yeah, it's the beanie.
That's why I wear it all the time.
No,
I'm
it's
also
good.
tragically bald. But no, the beanie it's so funny because there's two things that people will cite me for. I used to wear this like kimono thing that was like pink. It almost looked like a bathrobe a little bit, but it wasn't.
Oh.
And so I like things that have
Silky
length.
or fluffy?
Not even neither. Like just kind of like there.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely not fluffy. I do have other fluffy garments that I wear at times, but no, I would wear that. So there was a short time in 2020 where I was pink robe guy.
Okay.
People would yell that out at me, like at the mall and shit, which is weird to be at the mall. Pink robe guy. Yeah, that's me. I guess. And then now it's the beanie. Now it's
Okay.
always the beanie. People
Yeah.
are like, I recognize the beanie man. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
You look like Mac Miller. Anybody ever told you that? Yeah, every day.
Oh, you know what they say?
Every day.
They say
Every day. You look like Mac Miller. Sound like John Mayer, man.
again. Yeah. That's what I'm
But
going to
yeah,
call my
it's the
next
beanie.
album.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Yeah, Mac Mayer.
Yeah,
Anyway.
It's a tribute act.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing.
Exactly.
I'd pay to come see that. I'd bring some friends along.
Thank you. Maybe that's the secret.
So
Maybe that's the
you play at some other venues in Atlanta, all around town. You recently did a show at Eddie's Attic.
Yes.
Was that more of your original music?
That was actually, so I didn't really say this at the show, but I'll say it here. I pretty much played my album. There's like 2 songs we didn't play because they're not quite where I want them yet. I haven't even really played them live yet. But I would say it was about 90% of what I'm working on right now. And it was the first time that we've played, because we always play our stuff even when we're out doing cover gigs and stuff, but it's 3 hours a time. So we'll sprinkle them in.
Right.
It's not back to back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
So it was very interesting hearing my stuff all together like that. And seeing the line through it, because I play it again for myself, but then seeing people react to it is very cool. Very cool. But we didn't play any covers. We closed with a cover because they wanted us to do an encore.
Okay.
So we did Dreams by Fleetwood.
Oh. Be Still My Heart.
Yeah. We have a bit
R.I.P.
of a
Christine McVie.
Yes, I know. And you know what's crazy? She died that day. It was the day that she passed away that we played that, and I didn't even know until I got off stage.
Oh, no way.
I had no idea because I was so focused on
everything
the show.
else, right.
I wasn't even on my phone.
Right.
And then somebody walked up after and said, "You know what happened today?" I was like, "What?" It blew my mind.
That's crazy.
People thought we did it intentionally. It was
Right.
not. It was not intentional.
I also had like a strange moment that day. I was standing at my kitchen sink washing the dishes and I was humming Songbird to myself. And then I remember giggling at one point because for the longest time I thought Eva Cassidy wrote Songbird because she did a beautiful cover of it. And I just didn't know that it was a Christine McVie song. So I was standing there washing the dishes, giggling about that. And not an hour later, I pick up my phone and the first thing it showed me was Christine McVie's dad. I was like, what? And
Energy's real, man.
Yeah?
Energy is real.
Yeah.
It shows its face at weird times.
Yeah, the Songbird was...
what I mean?
Really was singing that day.
Yeah, indeed.
For both of us.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. But yes, Eddie's Attic was a surreal experience.
So as a musician who writes their own music and is in a project and a band that plays your own originals, how do you feel that translates when you're doing shows? Like let's use 5 Paces as an example. How does your audience respond to your original stuff? Do you tell them it's original? Do you just launch in and...
It's different. It depends on the crowd. So if I have a crowd rolling, so my thought process with cover gigs in general, especially because they're not my long-term goal, is I want to get my audience invested in me.
Yes.
I don't want them to be invested in me playing the hits because that's very fickle.
Right.
It's a very fickle love. Like if your goal is people like we got you playing the hits, which is fine. And frankly, I need to play more hits. My band gets on to me all of the time because I don't play stuff that people know.
Right.
But my thought process is if they like you, it doesn't matter what you play.
Right.
Like that's really how I feel
if your
about
fan
it.
base is dedicated.
If the people in the room like you, you can play anything and they're invested and they're there.
Right.
So if the crowd is invested in me, I'll say, you guys want to hear one of mine because it'll get them a little bit more excited. But then if they aren't yet, I'll use some of my stuff to get their attention because I know that my stuff is, especially with the band, is stupid. My stuff is stupid because I make it that way. So it'll get their attention. And then after it's gotten their attention, you get to walk back up after it's done and be like, by the way, that was mine.
I wrote that song.
Yeah. And then people are like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And that is it. But it's just, it's an in the moment thing. It's not an across the board situation, you know? But yeah. That's kind of the thought process behind it is it just depends. It just depends. I'm going to play my stuff. I'm like, even if you tell me not to play my stuff, I'm going to play my stuff.
Cool.
That's
how it is. Yeah. I feel like that about a couple of mine too on the occasion where I'm just, it's like, you just kind of know, like, I think this audience might be cool to hearing something.
They might be into it. Yeah. It's just a situational thing. 5 Paces is my favorite place to play in Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it's just...
I saw you in your natural habitat.
Yeah, you did. No, like if you catch a 5 Paces show, I really feel like you caught a show.
Okay.
If you catch me at Truck and Tap Duluth, you're kind of catching me paying my bills, like low key. Okay. Not that I don't love them. Like I adore Truck and Tap
We
Duluth.
love Truck and Tap
Truck
Duluth.
and Tap and my family are great. They're amazing.
Truck and Tap in Alpharetta as well.
Truck and Tap Alpharetta as well. Truck and Tap Alpharetta, we've had
also, by the way, shout out to Truck and Tap Duluth. You should bring the Lobster Dog truck
that's the thing about podcasts where like I just am talking, I forget that we're being recorded, and then now they're going to hear that and they're going to be like, I thought you did that. It's not what I meant, guys. It's not what I meant.
That's all right. It's for content.
But
It's content.
it's content. But like, 5 Paces is, the energy there is just insane. It's just insane. And I like energy.
Okay.
Because it pushes things out of you that you wouldn't normally be able to do, you know. Take risks that you wouldn't feel normally brave enough to take because the adrenaline, just straight up. The adrenaline, and then it's happening, and then it happens, and then it's over. Like I love that. 5 Paces is one of those places that you play there for 3 hours, but you feel like you were playing there for 30 minutes.
Yeah. And I feel that like when the adrenaline, the hyperactivity takes over, I don't even know if it's like you consciously taking risks. Sometimes I just find myself, I'm like, that'd be really cool to do, and then I just find myself doing it, whether it's vocally or like running around in the crowd or you know, throwing water off stage. I don't know. Like it's just but
that's the best
right,
is when the moment dictates what it needs. It's not you trying to puppeteer things.
Right.
You know, and then I think that your audience will subconsciously realize that you're in that moment with them. It's not something that you're separated from. Like sometimes you go and see a band and you can tell that there's a veil between the stage and the audience, you know, because they are so practiced at doing that. Right. You know what I mean? But I don't like that. I want, you know, every show to be a little bit different because that person wasn't there last night and you're wearing something funny and I'm going to talk about it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, just, you know, little things like that that take the air out of the room.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I think that also is the mark of not just a great musician or not just a great front man or woman, but a true entertainer.
Oh, well. Thank you.
Yeah. No, I really believe so. So in your playing your original music, in your songwriting, it's kind of a cliche question, but what are you currently inspired by songwriting wise? You said that you've got a couple more songs.
So I'm in this spot now where I've got 11 songs that are locked.
Okay.
And when I get to that point, I kind of stop writing because now I'm in execution mode.
Okay.
So I was writing, let me see, I think the last song I wrote was 2 months ago. It's a song called When You Were Mine that I didn't even, when we were writing it, because I normally will solo write, but there's only one person that I will co-write with, and it's my friend Ben Glass up in Nashville. We've written, I think at this point, 4 or 5 songs. Forgive me, Ben, if I forgot. I'm so sorry. And all of them have ended up being stuff that's been added to the album. Even kicked some other stuff off because it's just good.
Wow.
So When You Were Mine is the most recent one that I've written. It was not intended for anything for me. In fact, when we were writing it to shop around in Nashville to get like some covers, see if we can get some hits on it. But playing it live, I think it's a little too me to give to somebody else. So that'll probably end up being on.
Okay.
But so we're in execution mode, which we've tried a couple of different ways of getting it where we wanted it, but it's just not quite got the sound we've been looking for. But we're going to go into the studio at the top of the year and really do it right.
Okay.
Really do it right.
So in that case, what sort of time frame should people be expecting some exciting things?
Will jump off a bridge if I do not have music out by March.
Wow, that's some.
Yeah, no, it's just been so long. The last thing that I released was 2015.
Oh, wow.
It was the last time I released something. It was 2015. So it's been a minute. It's been a minute, and
but you've
been
busy with life in the meantime.
Yes, I have. I had a daughter, and
right. You've probably got
there's a lot. I kind of had to
write
rebuild
about
myself.
as well.
Yeah. If that project in 2015 had popped off with who I was at that time and the mental space that I was in, I'd probably be dead right now, and that's not an exaggeration. Just because I would have hit the gas pedal, and then every trope that happens to young songwriters would have happened to me because I was just ready for it. Like I was just going hard, and thank God. The thing that sat me down was a child and not a crippling drug addiction or alcoholism or straight up depression and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you had to kind of rebuild a little bit, but now learning lessons from that project and how to release it and get people invested and do those things. And also the ground time of playing in front of people and building a show and building a band and actually building something that you feel like is worth people paying money for.
Right.
Not just they think you're cool, but like...
And your skills, building your own skills as an artist.
100%.
And I'm sure like the things that you've learned in the last 7 years, you've been able to not only just put into practice on stage, but put in write your soul into your music. And
100%.
No, I totally agree.
Absolutely.
I think I've also often thought this, just to piggyback off that a little bit, I often used to sort of torture myself with I haven't done enough considering how old I am. I haven't done this in my music career. I haven't popped off this way in my music career. And I also think I'm it wasn't time. Because had I was similar to you, had things happen for me earlier on I wanted them to, this conversation
wouldn't happen.
Wouldn't be happening, So I think it's really important as artists to to take a moment to respect the struggles, because in that way we're given so much more of a gift as seasoned and more mature musicians now. So
absolutely. And that's the other thing is when it comes to deadlines and stuff like that, it's been so long since I've released music that another few months to get it right is worth it to me.
Yeah.
Because that's going to live forever. Once it's out, it's out. It's done. You can't touch it again.
Right.
So, and again, drum...
It's like another baby. You just parade it around. Look what I did!
Jay would throw a flip-flop at me hearing me say that because he's so go and get it done, which is why we're such a great team.
Okay.
Because he will push me in areas that I'm a little bit more tutti-frutti.
Yeah, yeah. Space cadet.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Space, yes. That is me.
Yeah.
I'm the wouldn't it be cool if guy.
Right.
And he's
the visionary.
Yeah, he's definitely the that's not going to work, let's do it this way guy.
Right.
And
you need a 2IC like that.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's why he and I are so tight,
Yeah.
Because I feel like we kind of push each other in those ways, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. So new music in March. Is there anything else that you're currently working on, or is there any kind of shows you want to shout out? Anything coming up?
I will be doing a show with Lane Denton in Duluth in the end of... We might have to move the date to February, but it'll be either in the end of January or February.
Okay.
That'll be at the Red Clay Music Foundry with the incredible and legendary Eddie Owen, who is Eddie from Eddie's Attic.
Oh.
So Eddie Owen, who runs the Red Clay that's across the street from Truck and Tap where you and I met, he is Eddie from Eddie's Attic.
Oh, I had no idea the place is willing. Okay, well, that's definitely...
So, well, they're not affiliated. They're not affiliated anymore.
No.
They're not affiliated anymore. It's just the dude. It's just the guy.
Just the name. Okay.
Yeah. So he left Eddie's Attic in 2012 and then opened that spot in Duluth.
But he's going to be playing with you?
No, he's just there. He's the guy that owns the theater. That runs the theater.
I haven't been there yet, but...
You got to.
Well, now I have a reason to.
Well, come to the show.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Come to the show, hang out.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming and chatting with us. The last little thing I wanted to ask you is if you can shout out all your socials so that people know where to find you.
The best spot is Instagram.
I love Instagram.
JHP_official, because JHP is taken by a bot account that has 34 followers and never posts. Does it keep me up at night? No, I promise. But yeah, JHP_official. Facebook is just JHP. If you can't find it, it's just look up JHP Band. And And then TikTok is JHP Music. I'm going to warn you, TikTok, I am a lunatic on TikTok. It is my shit
so you
post,
do post
centro.
on there.
Oh, yeah, but it's like me ranting about racetrack being closed at 2:30 in the morning because can't get the sandwich that I like and I have to go across the street to QT and I'm mad about it. Like,
You know
TikTok is my, like,
That's the kind of
diary.
like chaotic neutral energy I'm here for.
100%. Like, it's so funny because Instagram is so cultivated and like I'm an artist and all of that. And then I am a madman on TikTok. And I don't know why. But it's like the extension of the Snapchat story. Like, remember when Snapchat stories first came out and it was kind of people were using it as diaries?
Yeah.
That's how I use TikTok.
That's fantastic, though.
So you get a little bit of music because I post like show clips and stuff on TikTok. And then you get me ranting or like coming up with like, there's one that basically, what was it? Man, I just forgot it. But basically, not fettuccine. What Alfredo? Alfredo is just fancy mac and cheese.
The soundbite right there.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Alfredo is just fancy mac and cheese. And so like those little thoughts, that's my TikTok. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So,
well, I'm definitely gonna go and check that out because I feel like, I like the ridiculousness that you get from just browsing the internet, but I really prefer if the ridiculousness was from people that I knew because I mean it's just so much funnier.
JHP Music on TikTok is a party and a half.
Okay.
I promise you.
Perfect.
I take full advantage of my 330 followers. I rant to them almost daily.
Well, it'll be 331. Right, I made it.
Baby steps. We're going for it.
Well, thank you so much again, Jacob. You've been an amazing, amazing artist to have on our show.
Thank you.
And if you are an artist out there in Atlanta or further abroad in Georgia or even America, let us know if you'd like to be on this podcast. We would love to hear from you. Send us a DM at Vision One Media on Instagram, or you can send it to me, ella.beth.music. And we'd love to have you come and talk about your music and your journey and you as an artist. So yeah, let us know. And we hope you guys have a great week.